I'm going to continue with a left lane change, checking mirror and blind spot. And it's important to begin and end your lane change before an intersection. The rule when you're turning onto a 2-lane road is always choose the closest lane available. So for me, that meant I made a right into the right lane, and for the other cars, they should make their left into their left lane. Hey guys, it's Jacqueline, and for the next 15 minutes, we are going to practice all the skills you need to pass your driving test. When you prepare to take your driving test, you have to remember that your driving examiner is going to lead you through what will feel like an obstacle course. They're going to direct you through a set of skills, and your job is to be able to demonstrate your good driving in anything that they ask you to do. They're going to focus on a few big themes: parking lot driving, intersections, right and left turns, lane changes, and reversing parallel to the curb. Those are the essential skills that you need to be a safe driver in a residential and light commercial area. So those are the only 2 areas where you're going to be tested. And in general, you'll be driving in a speed limit range from 5 miles an hour in a parking lot to about 30 miles an hour in a light commercial area. We're going to start with the pre-drive checklist. Those are all the car parts that you need to know in order to start your driving test. While your examiner is still outside of the car, they're going to ask you to show all the car features. So I'm just going to go through these quickly. I'm in a Honda Fit, so these are the auxiliary equipment that go with a Honda. My headlights are on the left side. I twist forward, and then I can see a little green light on my dashboard, which tells me that my headlights are on. To put on my turn signal, I use my left hand to push down for left and up for right. To put on my hazard lights, I push in the button with the red triangle. To tap my foot brake, I tap down gently on the brake and release. And those are all my car parts with lights that I'll be asked to show. I'll also ask to show my horn, so I can give a little honk. I'll also be asked to show my windshield wiper, and in the Honda, I control that with my right finger. I can push up for the windshield wiper or down if I wanted to put it on faster. I'll be asked to show my defroster button, and I can just point to that with my finger. It's right here in the center console. I'll also be asked to show my emergency brake, and in this car, it's right here in the middle with a button to release. And then I'll be asked to show my hand signals. And the hand signals are universal. I use my left hand and I stick out and I say left, right, and stop. Once you've demonstrated all of the auxiliary equipment, the examiner will get in the car with you and you'll begin the driving portion of your test. The driving portion takes about 10 minutes, and as I said, it's primarily in residential and light commercial areas. I just wanted to pop in and give my highest recommendation to the Zootopia driving app. They've helped so many of my students who are feeling anxious about the driving test to do the final prep they need to pass the permit. Zootopia has simulations, additional content, videos, everything that a new driver or a parent needs to help guide learning to drive process. If you're looking for a great resource to help you or someone you love prepare for their permit, the Zootopia app is where it's at. We're going to get started with our parking lot driving. So the important thing to remember when you're on your driving test is that you have to read the road signs and you have to respond appropriately. Your examiner is going to tell you to assume straight unless they tell you to turn. In this case, when I assume straight, I find myself entering into a parking lot area. And even though there's no speed limit sign posted, I know that I have to be cautious because I'm looking for pedestrians, for cars that could reverse. And in this case, where there's a dog park, I'm also looking for animals that could be walking. I'm following the sign which shows me the guided U-turn. So again, I'm following the standard assume straight, and by controlling my speed, if there was a driving examiner in the car with me, they would know that I am safe. So even though there's no speed limit sign posted, I have to remember safe speed in a parking lot, 5 miles an hour when I'm near people or dogs in this case. And then if it feels more open, I can increase my speed a little bit. Let's say up toward 15 miles per hour, which is my caution speed. The first parking lot that you will be navigating is the DMV parking lot, wherever you take your test. And just remember that DMV parking lots are busy spaces. Sometimes people can be stressed or distracted. So it really is important that you model safe driving, controlled speed, and of course scanning in case you have to respond to any hazards. Now that I'm entering a 2-lane road, I'm gonna demonstrate a right lane change, checking the rear view mirror, signaling and checking mirror and blind spot before I move over. On your driving test, you'll have to do 1 left and 1 right lane change. And the examiner will say, when it's safe, make your lane change. Your job when you're assessing safety is always to check the rear view mirror first, and if it makes sense, then you'll continue. I'm gonna continue with a left lane change, checking mirror and blind spot. And it's important to begin and end your lane change before an intersection. Never make your lane change in the intersection. I'm going to make 1 more right lane change because I want to position myself for one of the other skills that we have to demonstrate, and that is pulling over to park on the right-hand side. I'm noticing the speed limit is 25 and I'm staying calibrated at 25. It really is important to keep a safe speed for the environment. And 25 miles an hour is the safe neighborhood speed. I see a nice open space to practice pulling over to park, and that's exactly what your examiner will be looking for. A nice space where you'll have at least 3 car lengths to reverse back. So you'll always be able to expect a nice, gentle approach coming straight and parallel to the curb, and that'll set you up to reverse straight back. And your examiner will say, please reverse until I tell you to stop. And they want to see that you can track behind the car in case anybody were to pull up or walk up. They also want to see that you can track your lane position in the right mirror and that you have speed control. So I just barely lifted my foot off the brake, allowing myself to reverse at about 1 or 2 miles per hour, those 3 car lengths. Next, we'll pretend like my examiner said, please return to the road. And I'm going to use this opportunity with the red light ahead and traffic approaching slowly behind me to re-enter the road. And I just want to acknowledge that I'm not perfectly straight in this position because I did angle out from the parking lane. But before I came out, I looked behind and I saw the car approaching. They were far enough away and going slowly enough that I felt like it was safe for me to enter and take that opportunity. So we've practiced already driving safely in a parking lot, maintaining our calibrated speed at the speed limit, making safe left and right lane changes. And now we're going to make a right turn over the bike lane. And the most important part about any of our right turns are that we always look in the right mirror and the blind spot to be sure that when we go from our lane to the right turn lane, we don't miss a cyclist that could be in the bicycle lane. And I'm reminded by this sign below the red light that when I prepare to make my right turn, even though all have the green light, I still have to be prepared to yield to pedestrians or bicycles, because those bicycle or pedestrians could be going straight across. And just like the friends ahead of me, I'm considering a right on red. I'm going to creep out to the edge of my crosswalk, make sure it's safe, and if I turn right into my right lane, the car behind me should turn left into their left lane, and then we will both have enough room. The rule when you're turning onto a 2-lane road is always choose the closest lane available. So for me, that meant I made a right into the right lane, and for the other cars, they should make their left into their left lane. And now that we're on our 2-lane light commercial road, we're looking for a speed limit of up to 30 miles per hour. But of course, we can only go as safe as the traffic ahead of us allows. So the traffic ahead of me is going about 20 miles an hour. That means my safe speed is 20 miles an hour. If the flow of traffic increases up to 30, my safe speed will be up to 30. And a lot of times people ask, if the flow of traffic is going above the speed limit, is it okay if I go above the speed limit? And the answer is always no. You are never legally allowed to drive over the posted speed limit. Even if the rest of the world is going above the speed limit, your job is to stay calibrated with the posted speed limit. And it can be helpful to remember that the speed limit is set for the safety of pedestrians. A 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on a road like this means that pedestrians would be able to cross safely with enough time without being surprised by a speeding car. And then up ahead, we have a reduced speed. When children are present, we should drop our speed to 25 so that we can allow kids a little bit more of a safe passage across the street from school. And the last skill that we're going to practice is another parking. And we're going to look for a parking lot that we can park in, because at the end of your driving test, you'll be asked to re-enter the DMV parking lot and park safely in a designated spot. And when you're parking in a parking lot, your focus is going to be fitting safely between the lines. If you really want to pass the road test, then you need to check out Zutobi. Zutobi helps you focus on what's important for your test and then teaches you how each maneuver should be done correctly, step by step. Not only will you be more prepared for your driving test, you'll also feel more confident and safe when you're driving. So for your last-minute prep before you take your test, I want you to think about calibrating your speed, making safe lane changes, and staying comfortable during your test. Your goal is to be able to do whatever the examiner asks you, knowing that if you've practiced, you have a sense of how unpredictable driving can be. You never know if somebody's gonna pop out from a parking spot or walk out between two cars. So while you're driving, you're scanning and staying aware of any potential hazards. As I prepare to turn this corner, I'm considering the friend, and because they're paused, I got to make my right turn. But I took an extra moment to consider that friend because I wasn't sure if they were going to go straight. And if they were going to continue straight, then I would have had to yield to them. As I enter this parking lot, I want to make sure that I stay centered on the white arrow. And I'm going to pick a spot on the left. I'm going to let my left foot guide me between the white line on the left toward the curb. And then I stop. At the end of the test, your examiner will have you put your car in park, turn off your car, and then they'll review your score sheet with you. As long as you don't miss more than 15 points, you can pass your test. So you don't even have to be perfect. But to be a safe driver, your goal is to try to get the best score possible so you can really be on point and make sure you've mastered your skills. Thanks for checking in today. Good luck as you do your final prep for your driving test, and have a great, safe time on the road.